We've got somebody in. Dixon Omis, how you doing? Donald Trump, how you doing? Wait till we get a few more in. Oh, it's so hot out there tonight. Hi, can't pronounce your name, so I'll put it up on screen there. Fitzy, how you doing? Okay, that's quick. 27 in already. Another name I can't pronounce, so I'll put it up. Tommy Keepley, I can pronounce your name. Good morning from Ireland. Okay, give us a few more minutes and I'll explain what I'm doing. I had a haircut this week. Look, she went bloody bonkers. Look how much she's taken off. Made my face look like a pumpkin. Anders, how you doing? Patty 1003, happy Christmas and a happy New Year to everybody, actually. I did a nice tribute to Ed Sweeney the other day. I put that up. I think that went down quite well. Such a sad thing that happened, wasn't it? Ricardo, how you doing? Rick, how you doing? Godlike, good afternoon. Hi, Peter. I hope you're enjoying your new life. I'm sitting in Soy 7 jump tea and just chilling. I bet it's hot, isn't it? It's really hot here in Hua Hin. John Thompson says he's in Hua Hin right now. I'm at home, actually, John. I wanted to take the tablet, because there's quite a long range for Wi-Fi on the tablet, and I wanted to go and sit in the garden or, sit somewhere around so you just have a different outlook rather than a green screen. And but it's just this on the tablet, even though the tablet's 10 inches, a screen came up about that size. I couldn't adjust it any bigger. So I've decided to come back and do it this way. I'm not sure if I like this background, though. Let me just go in and change that. I've seen a nicer one earlier. There we go. What's that one like? Oh, yeah, it's much nicer. There we are. Tropical look. Yeah, so what I've decided to do, because I always do a Sunday live stream at about 8 o'clock Thai time, 8 o'clock in the evening. And obviously people watch the stream on a rerun because they're in bed or they're at work or whatever. And I thought, let's try one at 2:30 on a Saturday afternoon, because right now in the UK, it's what? 2:30, 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So it's 7:30 a.m. in the UK now. So I don't think anybody from the UK is going to be watching unless they're having their breakfast, getting ready for work on Boxing Day. Cheers. Hi, Steve from Chicago. How you doing? 241178. How you doing? I think I've said everyone hi to everyone now, haven't we? Yeah. So I just thought I don't know how long this is going to go on for. We'll see how many we get in. I just thought I'd have a little practice. Hopefully the mic won't go, or hopefully this sounds good, not like last Sunday. And yeah, if you want to know anything, you want to ask any questions, it's going to be quite a laid back stream. So this is the time to to ask. So someone just seen one there. Someone's in the UK. Mark, how you doing? I'm in the UK. You're up early. Are you going to work or just getting over yesterday, Christmas? Great time for the USA, says the one Rob. But I guess that's not all of the USA, because it's a huge country, isn't it? The East Coast and the West Coast, there's a bit of a time difference. Is it 3 hours, something like that? Adam says, I'm watching at work. Wish I was off too. I think you meant to. Peter, how you doing? Tyler, your protection's in. How was your Christmas? So I'll talk about my Christmas. Yeah, I was a bit of a miserable git this year because I don't have any children here. I'm not religious. I was invited to my friend Simon's house up in Bangkok because I have the whole family around and some friends from the factory and stuff. But I just couldn't be arsed driving up there. It's not the best of drives up there. And, I would have had to check into a hotel and everything. And I just treated it like a normal day. I didn't do anything exciting. Yeah, I went out to a local, there's a local market close to me. It's a mile from the house, but I can go on all the back roads, so I can have a couple of beers and, I don't have to go on the highway. I know you shouldn't do that, but sometimes it's just, you need transportation to get to these places. But I've booked a nice restaurant for the 31st, New Year's Eve. It's cost me 6,000 baht for my girlfriend and I, and it's in town. The restaurant goes over the ocean. It's a full buffet, glass of champagne at midnight, and it overlooks a firework display on Hua Hin Beach. So looking forward to that. I hope everybody had a good Christmas out there. Peter, just really quickly, I know this is not really stream material, but Mark did send me a message. He wants to do it on Monday now. I did try and call him twice. He didn't pick up, but he did message me back. Is it cold? What, in the UK? Peter, how wild is... Let's have a look. Peter, how wild is it there on Soy 6? Well, I'm not in Pattaya. I'm actually in Hua Hin, but I know it very, very well. It's probably the wildest street in the world. I was going to say Thailand, but probably in the world. You imagine something like, I don't know, there must be a couple of hundred girls. You imagine walking down a street and a couple of hundred girls all dressed very scantily in bikinis and very revealing even costumes, and they're all grabbing your arms to come in their bar. It's quite a shock for the guys going down the first time. You know, I remember my girlfriend when I first took her to Pattaya. She's not keen on Pattaya. You know, she's kind of like, you know, she doesn't come from that background, so she's not keen on it. But she's never sort of seen the real side of it, what we're talking about now. And I said, well, I can take you down Soy 6 on the motorbike if you want. And she says, yeah, I'd like to see. And she was in such disbelief that she actually closed her eyes for the second half of the street. She just couldn't believe that Thai girls would dress like that in public. You know, she's just totally shocked. You know, if you're not used to it, then I suppose. Chris from Auckland, New Zealand, and 8:30 p.m. is great for me. Good stuff, Chris. Yeah, so I'm hoping I get a completely different crowd in this afternoon. We've got over 50 in already. It's early days. It's 2:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday afternoon here in Thailand. As I say, I normally do them about 8 p.m. at night. So it's at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm 5.5 hours early, as it were. And we'll see how it goes. Just having a cup of coffee now. Fitzy says a couple of thousand girls rather than a couple of hundred. I don't know if there's a couple of thousand in Soy 6. At last count, there was in Pattaya, it was like 25,000 working girls. That's a lot of working girls. Remy, how you doing? Nice to see you. I wasn't expecting any of my usual viewers in today, but there is several. Hot up there in Bangkok, I guess. One thing I do like about down here, you get a breeze all the time. You know, in Pattaya, even though it's on a beach town, sometimes, especially in the evening, you walk along the beach road and the air's just static. You know, there's no breeze whatsoever, and you just get really clammy. And I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just telling you the difference. But down here, even in the evening, my back door, I thought I'd be swamped with mosquitoes because obviously there's a banana trees over there. We haven't got any neighbors behind. There's just a wall and a load of banana trees. And we sit out there sometimes in the evening and, you know, I have a beer. It's just, I get such a good breeze at the back there at night and no mosquitoes, hardly anything. And yeah, it's really nice, really nice. It's weird, you know, because Pattaya is on one side of the Gulf and Hua Hin's on the other side of the Gulf, and only one of them really gets any wind. What's on the agenda, says 2411. Nothing really, just laid back. I'm going to go for dinner, a nice dinner, seafood dinner tonight. My girlfriend's got a few friends down here now. She's just going to see one of the girls. She learned to drive. She just got a motorcycle test. There's a place near here where she can, 1,000 baht. It's a 2-day course, and she got a motorcycle, you know, a motorcycle license. So we're getting another motorcycle for her. And she's got a few friends down here now, so she's out with one of her friends. I dropped her off actually in the car because it was so hot. 7 Wiggle says, I hate it when your back door has mosquitoes. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we don't have that problem in the UK. But I tell you the problem I do have here. I can leave the back door open especially in the daytime, really, because there's such a good breeze coming in that if I don't open the back door, it's so hot in the kitchen, even with a fan, because the sun is at the front of the house all day nearly. It starts off early morning at the back and it comes over and it's at the front. I have to cover my car and bike up, you know, stop any paint distortion. But it's lovely, you know, but we have a problem with flies. You know, there's always like, before I started the stream, you know, I was running around with this thing because there's nothing worse than, I don't want to spray the whole room because it chokes you to death, but there's nothing worse than, you know, you're trying to do a stream or you're working on your PC and a fly constantly comes past you or lands on your finger and you're trying to swat it and you just can't get it. So I've extinguished 2 of them in here today. I think I'm good to go. Timeline. Have you seen a ghost again? I'm not sure what that was. I mean, it was a bit of a clickbait thumbnail. If you didn't see that video, I was doing the live stream last Sunday and I've got cameras right here. I've got 4 2 cameras look over the back and 2 cameras look over the front. And there was what appeared to be an orb. But orbs normally just kind of float around. This one actually moved with purpose. You know, it looked like it was running through the banana trees and it looked like it leapt over the wall. And it was quite unsettling to watch it. But, you know, people sent in comments that said, oh, no, it was the, infrared of the camera, pick something up that you can't see with the eye. You know, and there was all sorts of theories, and other guys were saying, I can't believe guys thinks this is a ghost. I don't really believe in ghosts, but I watched that film, you know, what I recorded off my cameras, and it does look kind of really weird. I'm not saying it is a ghost, but it doesn't look like an orb, like a normal. It just moves. Sometimes when it moves, it looks like it's running. Other times it looks like it's trying to get in the wall of the house. You know, it just, you think if it was an infrared, it would just kind of stay static or move a little bit with the wind, but it was all over the place, you know, and it was kind of moving with direction. So it'll be interesting when I do the next live stream next Sunday in the evening. Just say thanks to Fitzy there, being a member. Thank you for all the entertainment for all those years now, Peter. Meeting you and Patty randomly years ago made it better. Was it really years ago? Yeah, in that little bar at the back of Tree Town. But you've been a member for 13 months, so excellent. Thank you. Anders, what are you saying here? Just wait until those tiny flying bugs have their mating ritual around Songkran. There are millions of them swarming, wings, something or other, often dying after a few hours. It looks like World War I battlefield. I haven't witnessed them before. That'll be interesting if we do have that. I'll tell you what I did do. When we first moved, about a week after we moved in, a swarm of wasps decided they were going to build their nest at the front of the house under the carport. There must be a tiny gap where they can get in. It's perfect for a nest. And I was so lucky because I've seen them out the kitchen window. There must have been, I'd say 100 of them swarming around this one spot. And I went out again with a full can of this, and I did use a full can. And I just stood there spraying the air back and forth, and they'd go off, you know, and then they'd come back, and less would come back, and I'd do it again. And I used the whole can. It took about 5 minutes, but eventually they all went. And then my neighbor calls me Pa, right? That's a Thai way of calling an older person. You know, he doesn't call me by name. He's like, Pa, come here, like this. So I go, he's a chef, you know. So I go around the side there, and he's pointing up, and I'm looking. I'm like, what's he pointing at? And there's a small wasp's nest. You know, it looked like a cone sort of thing. You know what they look like. And again, just fired that stuff at it and hit it down with a rake, and it was gone. Barry Bluebird, good morning from the UK. Hope you settled in and you're enjoying your house. Thank you, Barry. It's actually because we moved here on a Saturday, so I think it's this is 7 weeks today we've been here. 7 weeks. I did another video on the house yesterday. I was a little bit concerned because this isn't Bangkok and it's not Pattaya. And before I moved down here, I was thinking, well, am I going to lose subscribers because not everyone's interested in Hua Hin? Okay, I still read the stories out and I still do, you know, 10 points, you know, 10 things you shouldn't do or you should, all them sort of videos, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's Hua Hin and not everyone's interested. Some people think it's boring down here. So I was kind of concerned, but so far, so good. I mean, I have lost a few. You know, if you remember in the early days, this was a bit of a manga channel, wasn't it? I was going around the bars and I was, you know, I was just focused on the bars and the girls. I'm talking 5.5 years ago when I started. And then we got COVID and then I kind of did the manga thing from my garage, you know, the girls, all that sort of thing. And I've kind of, I don't know, just naturally progressed to a different kind of content now. I've kind of moved away from the mongering side of it. And of course, those young guys, I got a really nice email off a young guy in the week. And he basically said, look, not all your audience is 56. He said, I'm 30. And he said, I've been watching your channel for the last how many years it was. He says, but I'm just writing to you because I'm going to unsubscribe. And I think it's only fair I'll tell you why. And he says, you know, I'm not slating you. He said, I'm still going to watch you occasionally. He says, but, you know, I'm a manga basically. And I go to Pattaya and now your channel doesn't kind of cater for that so much. And he wrote it really nicely. You know, he wasn't being vindictive or, you know, trying to be nasty in a roundabout way. And I just wrote back to him. I said, yeah, that's fine. That's fair enough. Fine. I understand. You know, you're a manga. You go to Pattaya. You want to see videos like that Mac TV, you know, the young guy in Pattaya. He does all that sort of stuff, doesn't he? You know, I'm sure he's come up very fast. He's on about, I looked yesterday on about 72, 73,000. Well, I'm only on 75 and it's taken me nearly 6 years. So that does appeal to a lot of people, those kind of girly videos. There's a lot of them in Pattaya. And, you know, hopefully I've built up my own crowd and I'll keep chugging on, as it were, keep rocking on, as they say. Okay, Remy, any advice about buying a motorcycle, 160cc, and insurance like an M-Max? Yeah, okay. What I'd say, whichever brand you get, like a Yamaha or Honda, there's a lot of shops in Bangkok that sell everything, but they've got signs up Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, whatever. First of all, I'd say buy it from a Honda dealer. If you're going to buy a Honda ADV, for instance, buy it from a Honda dealer, proper Honda dealer. because they're going to service it for you, aren't you? So like the place I bought it from, I can't remember the name, but they're about half an hour away. Actually, I got a message from them today. Let me just see if I can forward this on to you. I don't think I can. No, I can't. What I'll do, are you on? If you like after the stream, Remy, if you message me, I'll try and send it to you. So yeah, buy it from the dealer. Don't buy it from somebody who just, they're just selling everything. Because the Honda shop I got it from, the guys who do the services, they wear the white overalls with a Honda logo. They've got all the proper tools. They lift the bikes up on proper bike ramps. That's the first thing I'd say. The second thing I'd say, if they try to sell you the tax or insurance, just tell them you're not going to buy the bike, because when you buy a bike here in Thailand, they always give you the first year's insurance free and the tax. So 160 is about 800 baht a year for the tax. The insurance they'll give you free. The second year, you can just go back to the shop and ask them to get it again, or you can go to, these places have got like a cog outside. They're like MOT stations. They'll do it for you. They'll give you a choice of different ones. They tried to, I've bought my girlfriend a Honda 125 Click, a Honda Click for a birthday. Okay, I'm not going to buy her any gold or anything like that. And when I sort of said, yeah, I'm going to buy this one, they asked me about the tax insurance, and I said, well, how much is it? Expecting them to say, oh, it's free first year, because that's what they say to Thais. And he said to me, insurance is 3,900. And I just went, no. I said, I don't want the motorbike. And he went, oh, no, it's free. It's free for the first year. It's free, and the tax is free. Because they're just trying it on. I've got to be careful how I say this, defamation laws and all that here. So yeah, just make sure you get free tax and insurance, and buy it from a dealer. Is it possible to add automatic translation? Are you talking about on here? I don't think so. No, I know you can. As you're watching it, there's a button you can press and it'll bring it up in English. What my girlfriend used to do when she didn't trust me, she'd be sitting by the door on the floor down, not here, back in the flat, back in the apartment back home. And she didn't really know what I was talking about on the streams. And what she used to do, I caught her one time when I nipped out quickly. She used to sit on the other side of the door. The door's open that much, right? She used to sit on the other side of the door, and she'd had like Google Translate or something on, and she'd hold the phone to the door, and it picked up most of what I was saying, and she's reading it, very, very cunning. I've experienced many bars deny Indians. They have reasons, but what's the way for an Indian to enter those bars? You know what? They do, because I've got Indian friends who are from England, right? And it's all about your appearance. If you look like you haven't got two pennies to rub together, they don't want you in there. Without trying to sound racist. Okay, I've got an Asian wife, so I'm not racist. Some of those guys who go to Pattaya, they hang around in groups of 5 or 6. And what they've done in the past, some of them, not all of them, but they'll go into a bar, they'll buy a Coke, and they'll sit there for 2 hours molesting the girls. And some of them even buy a little half bottle of whiskey in 7-Eleven. They buy the Cokes and then open the jacket and the bars, they don't want that. So if you're a couple of guys and you dress quite well, I don't mean a suit, a tuxedo. I mean, you just dress, you don't go in there with a pair of sandals and a Chang vest. You're wearing a nice polo shirt, something like that. You're probably fine. But that's the main reason. Just because it's a lot of them, they don't spend money. Johnny, maybe invest in some mosquito screens on a few windows and install a screen door at the back of the house. They could help with the flies. I've seen those doors. At the moment, we don't really need it, because it's not the mosquitoes that give us a problem. And the problem, even though those mosquito doors that you're talking about, they look like the nets, but it's an extra door, they actually keep out quite a bit of the wind as well. Although there's holes in it, you don't get the wind, because when the wind hits it, it kind of disperses it. They're not, I've experienced that before. But we'll see how it goes in the summer, because it is high season right now, so it's not as hot. Well, you wouldn't think so today. It's very hot today. I can't pronounce your name, but so it's up there on screen. Well, after being a subscriber member for years, I just fell on this live stream, only the second live stream I have actually caught. Thanks for the years of entertainment, Pete. Cheers, Steve. Steve, you're welcome, mate, and thanks for watching for all these years. As I said at the beginning of the stream, the whole point of doing this Saturday stream, and I might make it a regular thing, because when I do my streams, it's 8 p.m. Thai time. Now, that's only going to appeal to a certain part of the world where people are actually, they've had their dinner or whatever. And someone like yourself, I don't know where you come from. You didn't say you didn't say where you come from, but you're obviously in a time zone where this is a good time for you. So maybe I'll do one at 2 o'clock every Saturday. You know, not a member stream and a regular stream. I do that every other week. But just, you know, like today, there was no intro, no exit. I just hit go live, and I sat here drinking my coffee until who was first, and I can't remember now. But there was a couple of guys came in. And we're almost up to 100 now, but I've nearly finished my coffee. But yeah, thank you, Steve. I'd love to know where you come from. Let me know. Paul Harrison, hi Peter, in Hua Hin now. Okay, Paul, have a good time in Hua Hin. I think it's a great town. Anders, I'm in a few videos behind TBH. Christmas is a busy time, but I'm definitely going to watch all soon. Thanks a lot, Anders. I know you do leave a lot of comments, nice comments. Barry Bluebird, do you know what the age limit is for hiring bikes in Thailand? Do you mean being young? Like, I think you've got to be 18 for a start. I'm not sure that they'll all check your driving. I think some of them check you've got a driving license. But in answer to your question, do you know what? I don't even think they ask you your age. You know, you just go there with a cash in hand. I think you'll be able to rent a scooter, no problem. There's loads of places to rent scooters. Somebody will give you one. Philip Bradshaw. Hello, everyone. Been a while since I've been on the live stream, going to Chiang Mai in the middle of January for the first time. Okay, when it gets hot at the end of January, first week in February, it starts to heat up. So when you get here, it should be a good time. Fitzy says, I'm not a monger. I love Thailand and hope to retire there one day, similar to you. Well, I was kind of a monger when I was younger. Even though I was married, I did enjoy the go-go bars. I did enjoy going into the bars, and, you know, maybe I did things I shouldn't have done. But, you know, now what happens when you get older, you just get bored of it. And I know it sounds crazy, you know, bored of all the girls. You do, because it's the same. There's no feeling in it, you know. It's like, oh, you know, you take a guy, takes a girl from the bar. She's going to go in the shower, come out with this towel around her, no makeup. She's going to lay there like a starfish. It's a transaction, you know. There's no. When you get older, you want something more than that, don't you? Mark Sanderson, is it? Good morning to you, sir. Oh, I kept it quiet for the first. She's lived with me for 3 years now. What it was, I didn't really want my kids to know, because even though we're separated, I thought they might get upset, because they still look at me as their dad and their mum as their mum. And no, I've got a girlfriend. Maybe I've just been a bit paranoid, but I didn't mention it for about. I didn't know if it was going to work out, but she's been living with me now for 3 years, and yeah, we get on great. She's bought this house on a mortgage on my advice. I'm paying the mortgage, 11,000 baht a month, and we're happy. We have arguments, of course we do. We get on each other's nerves, but you know, it was stressful moving in, and but yeah, I have got a girlfriend. Right, Perbert, how you doing? Glad to catch you live and awake. Yeah, glad to have you in, because I'm always on at a funny time, aren't I? Thanks for the super chat, by the way. Okay, where was I? Okay, I lived in Thailand for about a year. Now I've been in PH for 3 years. Okay, where's PH? I'm not very good with abbreviations. Oh God, I'll tell you what. Let me just tell you a little story. So, you know, I do Facebook as well. I never used to do social media. I thought it was silly, you know, guys putting posts of what they had for lunch. You know, here's my fish and chips, or I'm at this waterfall today. And I thought it was a bit kind of childish, really. And I never did it for years. And my friend Simon said to me, if you don't do social media, you'll be left behind. So I set up Facebook, or he did. And I've now got over 62,000 followers on Facebook. But, you know, I really hate I don't like reading the message. It doesn't matter what post you put on Facebook. You get so much, say out of 100 comments, 85 of them will be calling me an idiot, or I don't know nothing about Thailand, or, you know, they just insult me and call me names. And, you know, I think they're just, I don't know, maybe they're angry with their own lives. Maybe they think that I'm, you know, banging 18-year-old bar girls every night, which I'm not, of course. And it doesn't matter what post I put up. And not all my posts are bad. You know, some of them might be a bit boring. Sometimes I'll make my own beef burgers and I'll say, look, I've just made these, you know, like press the meat and everything. Or I'll talk about my grass, how it was nearly dead. But sometimes I make proper little videos. You know, I was out the other day and I filmed a reservoir and some mountains, and it was about a minute long. But you just get, you know, if you've got a Facebook page, you must know you just get so much abuse off people. I don't know why that doesn't happen on YouTube. You get a few the odd comment, when I look in the morning, but Facebook's terrible. I was going to pack it in about a year ago, and a lot of people said, no, don't pack it in. I like your content. But I was just going through the comments today, this morning, and, people were calling me a wanker, and I don't know nothing about Thailand, and, I should be eating Thai food. That's the biggest one I get whenever I do Thai food. Whenever I do a foodie video, like got a pizza here for 100 baht. Look, it's great. I'd say 80% of the comments, 70% of the comments, you're in Thailand. Why don't you eat Thai food? And for me, that's kind of stupid, because if you come here for a couple of weeks and you eat Thai food and you find it delicious, of course you're going to eat Thai food, right? I'm having a whinge now. But when you live here, that's like saying to a Thai person, right, you're living in London, you can never eat rice again. You should eat sausage rolls and sandwiches and roast dinners every day. You can't eat pad Thai. And then there's the guys who say, oh, I think I'll go. I ordered spaghetti tomato sauce. It came out really crappy, right? And I made a video about it. And some guy wrote, oh, I'm going to go to Italy and order pad Thai. And I'm thinking, spaghetti bolognese is a worldwide dish. Pad Thai isn't, unless you go to a Thai restaurant. Anyway, enough of my whinging. Just if you've had that experience, let me know. I'd love to read out your comment. Shams, what? I can't quite get that. Shams Shad, is it? Do you miss Pattaya now, or do you like it better here, or do you need more time to decide? No, I don't miss anywhere. I mean, I miss the park in Bangkok, because around here there's not really many places to walk, because of the soy dogs. I'm really in a kind of village, just kind of outside of Hua Hin. No, I mean, I'm in Hua Hin, but it's kind of on the outskirts, 7 miles from the Hilton, and there's nowhere much to walk. And as I'm not a Monga, I don't miss Pattaya. Pattaya is a good town, but no, I don't. In answer to your question, no. Let me just see who gave me that. Thank you, Perbert. You've been a member for 33 months. Is it illegal to smoke in restaurants and people just ignore the rule? Let me talk about that in a second. I'll just say thank you to Fitzy for the 20 Australian dollars. I'll get some skewers at the beach tonight with that. Thanks a lot. My head will be that big if I read that out. Thanks. Right, I'll tell you a story. Yeah, it is illegal technically it's illegal to smoke in any enclosed space, but a lot of a few go-go bars, one particularly in Walking Street, I know one or two, they let people smoke in different areas. And there's outdoor restaurants, you're not supposed to smoke. Let me just say, I've got a tickly throat now. Restaurants some restaurants ignore it, and those few restaurants where people can smoke, the smokers know it. And what happens, me and my girlfriend went out for a meal, a really nice meal in a Thai restaurant, but we were early, and then people started arriving, and because they know they can smoke, the smokers are attracted to that restaurant, and we moved table 4 times. I'm not an anti-smoker. You want to smoke, you do what you want, but people kind of assume when they smoke, it kind of stays just hovering on their table. And if you're a non-smoker, you get it really, it comes over, and it's not nice when you're eating. But in answer to your question, yes, it is illegal, but people still do it. Paul Harrison, you have many trolls on Facebook. It's unbelievable how many are so abusive. I know. I put it down to, some people say to me, oh, it's jealousy. But I think what it is, some people, maybe they're working in a factory, minimum wage. They don't like their wife anymore. They're in the bad weather. They have to get up at 6 in the morning to go to work. They come across my post and I think, here's this guy living the life of Riley. He lives in the sun in Thailand. He's probably gone out with bar girls every night. He's making his money on YouTube, like thousands, which I'm not. You'd be surprised how little it is. And I just think it's a case of it winds them up, and they just get abusive. And you're right. You go and have a look at any of my posts on Facebook. There's so much abuse. I do block people, but that spaghetti one I told you about, I got somewhere in the region of 1,700 comments. I must have blocked 200 of them, and then I ran out of time. I had to go out, I don't know how to pronounce your name either. Yes, it seems like the younger PPL have many more hurdles now. Okay, yeah. Someone said, Jared, I know of bars in Nana that you can smoke. Yeah, they don't want to turn people away, you see. And I can't say too much because I live here, but you know how the system works, right? This police here, isn't there, everywhere? There's a lot of money rolling in. You know what I'm saying, right? Yeah, I don't know about the bars in Nana because I haven't. The last time I was in Nana was about 18 months ago with a subscriber. He'd literally never been here before, and he contacted me and said, "Look, I don't know anything. Come on, let's go for a beer. I'll buy you a beer. Just show me around a little bit." And I thought I didn't really want to, and I thought, all right. And I went up to Billboard in Nana. That's the one on the third floor, and I found it really boring. It's like no, it didn't do a lot for me. Chat's dried up a bit now. Look, I normally just feed off the chat on the streams, and nobody's talking. Okay, Gerald, I know of bars in Nana. Oh, just read that. Herbert, by the way, I made these roasted potatoes for Christmas, as you said, boil and brush with oil. They were perfect. So what my wife used to do with boiled potatoes, she'd boil them like you normally do. So roast potatoes, sorry. We're talking about roast potatoes on a Saturday afternoon. So what she'd do, she'd boil them as normal. She'd let them cool down. Then she'd take each potato by hand. She'd take a fork and just scrape the edges of it, put it in the pan with lard, not oil. And they were so crispy because she'd scraped them with a fork. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. But she used to enjoy it, but they were really good. The best potatoes, best roast potatoes I've ever had. Robert, is it? Love your latest video on the house. When does she get her present? The bike, does she know? Yeah, I had to tell her about the bike because basically I don't want it in my name, because being a foreigner, it's such a nightmare to get anything in your name. If you take a lease on a condo building or you take out, anything you want to buy, they want a residence certificate. Okay. I'm going to get the Tabi and Ban. It's a yellow book. So when a Thai person buys a house, they get a blue book called a Tapi and Ban. I probably pronounced it wrong, right? But it proves that they own the house and the land. So she's got that. But as a foreigner living here, she just has to sign a paperwork, say I permanently live here, which she's done. That gets registered with the land office. I've got an appointment to see them on the 5th of February because they're backed up. And they'll just ask me a few questions. And once I get that yellow Tapi and Ban, because a foreigner can't have the blue book, he gets a yellow book, and I'll get a pink ID card. So it's like a Thai ID card, but as a foreigner, I've got a permanent ID, right? So I've got a proof that I live here full time, and I've got a Thai ID kind of thing. And when I want to buy a motorbike and they ask, oh, where's your residence certificate? I just show them the pink ID card, and that's it. And that lasts for life. So I had to tell her because otherwise, if I'd have bought it on the sly and sort of on her birthday, I would have had to do the paperwork. Yeah, back on that, Robert. We're really happy with the house. Everything's gone really well. I'm kind of fixated on my grass at the moment because when we moved in here, when they built the house, they put nice turf down, at the back, the side, and the front. But of course, we weren't here for a month. What saved it was rainy season. It got some rain maybe twice a week or something like that. Had it not been rainy season, we would have had to redo it. But when I moved in, there was big yellow patches that were absolutely dead. Okay. And you could see all the lines had opened up between the turf, when you lay turf. And I've spent about 5,000 baht on it now. I've bought 3 kilos of grass seed. I've done it 3 times, topsoil, which I've sprinkled over the seed. And it's really looking good now. I've been kind of almost obsessed with it, getting my grass going. But people have been around and said, oh, wow, your grass looks totally nice now, so yeah. Right. Fitzy, how does the high season seem where you are? It should be peak holiday. It's busy. It's really busy down here. Bangkunpor is a big night market in the middle of the town. They have dancing girls sing, not like a go-go bar, but they're I don't know how to describe it really. It's kind of scantily dressed girls, but they're in a kind of costume, with the big white boots and stuff. You've got a live band, and there must be seating there for 500 people, 400 people. 7 o'clock, you won't get a seat in there. And it's the same with a lot of restaurants now. 94, you go down 94. Binter Bar, I was out with Andrew Hammond. I said I don't go out much. And Andrew Hammond, he's got his own channel. He invited me out, and I thought, I'll go to Binter Bar. That's near the Hilton. That's one of the main entertainment street. They do have a walking street here in Hua Hin. It's nothing like Pattaya, but it's got bars down each side. Much kind of quieter than, not quieter, more subdued. than walking street in Pattaya. Nothing's like walking street in Pattaya. So he invited me out, and we were out about 8 o'clock. And but it was quiet. You know, we were sitting in a bar, and there was no one else in there, and we were walking around, and we caught up. It was good to catch up. He's on his travels. I think he's in Pattaya at the moment, actually. But yeah, but in answer to your question, it's very, very busy here. Do you think the immigration will be lax in January, same like before for visa exemption? No, not at all. You know, because what you must have heard this lots of times, but I'll just go over it very, very briefly. So what's happened is a lot of scammers, con men, young guys who wanted to stay here permanently, they're working off laptops. You know, they're doing IT, they call, you know, drop shipping and all that sort of thing. Well, if they're making money online, they don't have to be in their own country. They can be here. But of course, the only way you can stay here long term is on a retirement visa, a marriage visa, a work permit, or the DTV. And even the DTV is only 6 months continuous. And that's seen as a short term visa. The immigration don't see that as a long term visa. Hence why you can't open up a bank account on the DTV visa. What these people were doing, they were coming in on a 60-day tourist exempt stamp. And then they were going to the border, Cambodia, somewhere like that. They were going they were getting the 60 days. Then they'd get immigration here in Thailand to stamp it 30 days. So they had 3 months, okay? And then what they'd do a border run, come back in the next day or the same day. They get another 2 months. They'd extend that again. So they've been here 6 months now, and they've only done one border run, okay? And some guys were living here permanently. That's all they were doing every 3 months. They were hopping out and hopping in. And there was a big problem with some, well, I won't say where they're from, but they opened bank accounts in Pattaya, and they siphoned millions of dollars in cryptocurrency through these banks. And now you cannot open a bank account. Even the agent can't open it for you if you're on a tourist stamp, which was really handy for some guys. You know, luckily I got mine. You need to have a long-term visa, okay? And then you can open a bank account. But we're not talking about banks. But in answer to your question that you just asked me, do you think immigration will be lax in January, same as before? Lots and lots of people. You go on TikTok, you go on YouTube. Lots of people are getting turned away at the airport. They'll only do two. You can come as many times as you want. They're not saying you can only come here 2 times a year. You can come here 3-4 times, but they won't extend more than twice. The first time 30 days, the second time they'll only do 7 days, and that's it. I said you can come here as often as you want, but they will question it. There has been a lot of people turned away at the airport because they've been coming here many, many times, and immigration just said, no, you know, go back to your own country and get the correct visa. You're on a tourist stamp, and you're obviously not a tourist. So, you know, if you want to play it safe, just get the visa in your own country from the embassy. I know it's hassle, but, you know, you can get a 2 months visa there from the embassy. Remy, what are the plans for New Year's Eve? So I said at the beginning, I didn't do anything for Christmas. You know, I just treated it as a normal day. I won't name the restaurant, but there's a really, I'll name it next stream after I've been there. There's a really nice restaurant on the beach that goes over the kind of sea, over the sea. And I've booked me and my girlfriend in there. It's a full buffet dinner, a glass of champagne at midnight. And then from this restaurant, the firework display on the beach, we can sit in our chairs and watch it. It was expensive. It's 3,000 baht each, but I thought it's only once a year, isn't it? So I've got that plan. I wanted to book a hotel because I'm 7 miles away from, you know, where the restaurant is in the center of town, and everywhere's full. You know, everywhere around the city. I tried to book hotels yesterday. I should have done it a month ago. You know, I thought I had enough time, but 31st December, you can't get a hotel room here unless you pay, you know, 5,000-10,000 baht a night, and I'm not going to pay that. Barry Bluebird, have you seen the girl again you met in the mall? Oh, I see her every time I go in there. She's still cheeky, you know. If you don't know the story, just really quickly, I'll tell you very quickly. So when I used to go in Nana Plaza years ago, my friend was a manager of Billboard. It was called Carousel back then, and one of the young dancers, go-go dancers, he used to take back to his apartment occasionally. She wasn't a girlfriend, but you know what I mean, right? And she must have been, I don't know how old she was, but she was a young go-go dancer, you know. And anyway, that was it. End of story. I went back to the UK 2000. I came back out here 4 years, just over 3. I'm on my 4th year now. And I'm in Market Village, which is a big mall here in Hua Hin. And in the basement, they have, what do you call it? A food court. You know, you just get your coupons or cash and you go around. Anyway, my girlfriend goes off to get some food, and this woman of about 50. She's cleaning tables. She's got a uniform on. She's pushing a bin on wheels and she's clearing tables. And I've seen her a few times. I've seen her looking at me, you know, like not normally, like, who's she? Anyway, so I've got a tickly throat today. That's why I keep swallowing. So my girlfriend went off to get some food and she come up to me and she says, really quietly, she says, Peter, right? I'm like, oh, she must watch my YouTube channel. And I said, yeah, how do you know? Do you watch my channel? She says, no. She says, I'll make the name up. I don't want to give his name away. She says, no, I used to see Reggie. I used to see Reginald. And I was like, really? How can you remember my name then? She says, you used to come in the bar and you were friends with him. I've always seen him sometime. I couldn't believe it. It was like 27 years ago. So what I did, because I've still got the number of the guy who ran the bar, my friend. So I texted him. I said, you never guess who I've seen. Let's just say her name was Knock. It's not Knock. I want to keep her anonymous, okay? I said, I've just seen Knock. She recognized me. And he sent me a photograph of her when she was working in the Go-Go bar, right? And she's really good looking. And she's, you know, I've got it on my phone here, actually. And I sent him, I took a photograph first. I said, can I take a photograph of you? He says, yeah, I sent it. And he says, yep, that's her. And I showed her, I went back down there and I got the photo up and I said, that's you, isn't it, Knock? And she looked, she went like that. Anyway, so she says hello to me when she sees me, but she's still got that kind of bar girl attitude. Like she'll come up to me, like when I'm standing at a counter, she'll come up to me and she'll say, who you here with? And I'll say my girlfriend, and she'll give a cheeky smile and smack me on the backside, tap me on the bum, you know. And it's like, you know, it's just nice. You know, people say, what happens to where do old bar girls go? Well, now you know, she's clearing tables in Market Village. Right, Michael Ward, my bank has been frozen. I'm due out there at the end of January, but because of the booking, I don't fancy going, maybe leave it for 2 or 3 years. How long will the bank keep my account frozen? We'll put it this way, they won't unfreeze it. If you don't go into the bank, they won't unfreeze it. You can't go into the Bangkok bank or whatever bank you're within the UK or Australia, because people have tried to do it and they'll just say, no, you need to go to your bank in Thailand, right? So guys who are never going to go to Thailand again, they'll lose their money. The bank's not going to steal it from you, but you've got to go into the bank. And if you can't satisfy them with a long-term visa, they'll say, well, we're closing this account. You need to take your money. So if you're not coming back for 2 or 3 years, I'll assume the money would just sit there. I mean, they're not going to steal the money. They've just frozen it. They'll probably wait 5 years, something like that. I'm assuming that, you know, they can't just steal your money. They've got to keep your money for you at some point. Is it Sham? Have you learned Thai? What do you reckon is the best way for an adult to learn Thai? Maybe just speaking, not reading or writing. A lot of people have told, I'll answer your question in a minute properly, but a lot of people have told me that if you learn the alphabet, I think there's 42 or 44 letters in the Thai alphabet. A lot of people who speak really fluent Thai, like Trevor from Buzzin' him and others have said, if you learn the letters first, then it's much easier to learn the language. In answer to your question, if I learned to speak Thai, I've been coming out here for a lot of years, so I already spoke a bit of Thai. But the easiest way to learn it is live with a Thai girl. You know, when I met my girlfriend, she didn't speak a word of English, not a single word. She worked in a hospital for 20 years. You know, she never dealt with foreigners in the hospital, yeah, but she didn't have to speak English. She now speaks a pretty decent level of English. And but you know, I could speak pidgin Thai. People say to me, why can't you speak fluent Thai? If you've been in Thailand all these years, why you should be able to speak fluent Thai? Why can't you? And the reason being, because my background is hotels, 4 and 5 star hotels. And when I'll give you an example. When I went up to Khon Kaen in 1994, I left there in 96 to open a Sofitel. I was in food and beverage. We only hired staff that we could communicate with, like the heads of the department. So the coffee shop manager, he would have to have a proficient level of English. You know, the housekeeping manager, she would need to have, so all the heads of the department spoke English. So when we had our morning meetings, the meeting would be in English, and those heads of departments, like say the coffee shop manager, would go down and feed our instructions in Thai to the waiters and waitresses and stuff. And that's how we all communicate. And that's why I never really bothered to learn Thai. But even so, I did pick a lot up, even though, you know, I wasn't speaking Thai every day. I did already know a lot. But in the last 3 years I've lived with my girlfriend, it's incredible. You know, I mean, I go in, like I go in and fill my motorbike up. I tell them what petrol I want, the number, the 95. You know, I tell them I want a full tank. You know, I can order everything now. I could order food before, but it was simple, like rice, beef, pork. But now I can go in and I can ask them for the chilies. You know the little chilies you get, and I can even distinguish between the tiny chilies that they chop up in the fish sauce or the bigger chilies. You know, I can ask for the salt or the you know, make it spicy, don't make it spicy. Vegetable. You know, and my girlfriend's actually said to me, because I forgot, I've gone in and filled up my bike or my car, or I've gone and bought something from a shop, or we've gone in and eat, and I've given all the instructions in Thai. She's like, wow, you can speak really good Thai now. I said, no, I can't. I can't speak fluent Thai, but it's incredible. You know, I'm actually shocked myself that I can speak so much of it now. I'll be honest with you, I can't hold a conversation in Thai. I can't sit down and talk to somebody like I'm talking now, but I can say a lot of words, and I can understand a bit as well. But it takes time. And if you're older, it takes younger guys learn it much quicker because they remember. My memory's getting really bad now because I'm 66 in April. So I went for a dementia test about a year ago because I was worried. My mother got dementia and they give me a test. They ask you 30 questions and I won't go over it. I've said it before, but she says you haven't got dementia. You're just getting old. And it's funny. Some things I can remember from years ago when I was a kid, you know, and other things I can't remember what I had. Like I said to my girlfriend yesterday, I was really hungry at 1. I said, well, I haven't had any breakfast, have I? And she says, you did. You had toast, 3 slices. I'm like, that was yesterday. She said, it was this morning. You know, so I'm getting senile now. Probably won't remember how to switch the camera on one day. Robert, thanks for that. I didn't see that. A tenner there from you. Great. Thank you very much. Put this to the New Year's Eve drink on me, please. Thank you for everything you do. Cheers, Robert. And I know you do watch all my videos and streams and you do comment a lot. So thank you very much. You're a very generous man. Did I see that? Robert again. You got a cover for the car, which is a good idea, but why not the bike? But the bunny towels do look nice. So what it is, you know, I was just saying the sun is at the front of the house and it's so hot that I was afraid that the sun would discolor the car or even bubble up the paint. And I was chucking a kind of blanket thing over the back of the car, but I'd had that cover in Bangkok. It fits my car perfectly, okay? It's a proper car cover. But the reason I don't get a bike cover is because I go out on the bike 2 or 3 times a day. You know, I'll go into town. There's bakeries that serve nice coffee and sandwiches like around a mile away. I didn't realize how much fuel I'd used down here. I hardly used anything in Bangkok, but I'm putting fuel in the bike every week now. I'm filling up the tank sometimes twice a week. So if I went out in the car all the time, I'd be spending like 5,000-6,000 baht on petrol, you know. So we try to only use a car for doing things like if we want to do a weekly shop and we want to buy a lot in the supermarket so we can get it in the boot, or we want to go and buy a microwave, or if we go on a trip somewhere that's going to be an hour and a half and it's hot, you know, and we've got the aircon, but just locally buzzing around, we use a bike. So it'd be a pain keep having to pull off an elasticated cover. I just chuck that Hello Kitty blanket over the front of it, and it does the job. That was funny when she got me that. Ray, hey Peter, retiring Pat here over a year now. Your videos introduced me to Thailand. Thanks. I'm glad. I'm glad they did you some good. You know. Thank you very much. I get guys. You know, we were talking about trolls earlier on. Trolls and nasty messages on Facebook. I've had some of them are really ridiculous. I've had guys even on YouTube, like that message you've just put, you know, put it up on screen again there, yeah. A lot of guys do tell me, you know, I'd never thought about going to Thailand until I watched your videos. When I started, there was only a handful of YouTubers in Thailand. Now, I mean, I think everybody in Patti is a YouTuber, but there's lots of people here doing it now. It must be pretty hard to get your feet off the ground unless you're doing something like the guy I mentioned earlier. But, you know, I get guys leave comments and say, they say things like, I don't even think you've been to Thailand. You just regurgitate other people's material. Or they'll say something like, for somebody who's been going to Thailand for 30 years, you don't know very much, do you? Just stuff like that, you know. So when I get, you know, when I get compliments like that from people, it makes it all worth it, you know, because there's so many idiots out there. Toby Price, I used to go in and out every month. I worked on the rigs. Immigration told me to get the right visa. I had too many. I had to marry the girlfriend. Okay. You sure her brother wasn't the immigration officer? Barry Bluebird. I am a Monga Peter, but always look forward to the Monga Minute on the members chat. Okay. Still do them. Yeah. They take ages to put together. Who's that? Rob. Nova Scotia. is that Ned? I think you're sort of saying it's the right time for me to do a live stream. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that on that story with the go-go dancer, because she was very, very popular. She was hot, you know. I mean, I know she'd go out with 2 or 3 customers every night. It's a big bar, wasn't it? And also my mate occasionally. And yeah, she'd have been earning. I mean, I'm going back to 1997. No, I was selling. Yeah, it was when I left Conken. So I'm going back to 97, 98. We're talking 27 years ago. Like I said, that's how long ago it was. So she must have been earning back then, you know, 70, 80,000 baht a month, and cleaning tables in the mall. She'll be on 9,000-10,000 a month. But, you know, I mean, good luck to the girl. You know, she didn't suffer anything, any diseases really that have affected her for life. She's got through it all. She probably raised her son. I know she's got a son. She's probably raised her son on that money. And yeah, she's getting by. Wahing's cheap. It's really cheap down here. Anthony, hi Peter. Happy Christmas. Price of gold was 30 baht for 1 baht 2 years ago. Now it's 65. What's your view on this? Yeah, you're right. When I first came to Thailand, gold was 7,000 baht for 1 baht of gold. A baht of gold in weight, that's the Thai way of weighing it. A baht of gold, I think, is 15.6. Is it? It can't be ounces. What is it? I can't remember. Whatever the equivalent is, 15.6. Yeah, it's going up and up, but it's got to have a ceiling, hasn't it? I was really, really lucky. I bought an ingot, like it's only about that size, 5 baht, and I paid about. I paid 36. How was it? 36,000 baht per baht of weight. So let me just get the old calendar calculator up here. So what's that? So 36,000. And it's 5 baht of gold. Right. So I paid 180,000. Now, the gold was climbing. Because I was coming down here and I knew I'd have to buy some furniture and stuff, you know, I haven't plunged a load of money into the property, but I've bought things like fridges and the air cons and stuff like that, right? So, you know, if it didn't work out, I'd lose about, I don't know, £5,000. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but it wouldn't be very nice. But there was one day where it hit an all-time high of 68,400. It was only for a day. Then it went down to about 62. I'm not a person who knows anything about a gold. I'm not a forecaster. I'm not clever. I don't watch numbers, anything like that. But the day I decided to sell my gold, it was on that day when it was at its highest. So just to show you how much I made on that. So it cost me 180,000 for 5 baht of gold. Okay, so let's clear that. How much was it when I showed it? It was 68,400 per gold. That's for 1 baht times 5. Okay, I sold it for 342,000 baht. That's what I got cash. Okay, let's take away 180,000 baht, which is what I paid. So my profit on that gold was 162,000. Okay, divided into 42 for pounds, because that's what it is at the moment. So I made 3,857 pounds clear on that gold, which is about just under 8,000 Australian dollars and about 4,000 US dollars. So I was just lucky, you know. It happens sometimes people get lucky, don't they? And you know, I did it at the right time. So my view on gold is it's not a great time to buy it now because it's very high, but if it ever drops down, you know, even down to 55, I'd definitely buy some more. Right, who's giving me that super chat? I'm falling behind here. Tyrone Glover, Happy New Year. Stories get me through work. Thank you, Tyrone. I'll get a pint on you tonight. I'm going out to a nice outdoor restaurant. It's not expensive. It's cheap. People call me a cheap Charlie. I don't care, but I can get a couple of beers with that. Thank you very much. Right. If you've just joined us on this Saturday afternoon, I don't normally do live streams on a Saturday afternoon. I normally do them every 2 weeks on a Sunday. But as I said at the beginning, there's certain people who would like to watch the live streams, but they're sleeping or they're at work. So I thought what I'd do is try one on a 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, my time. Well over 100 in now. So I think I'll make this a regular thing. I'll try. I'm not promised to do it every single Saturday, but I'll try and when I don't have anything on, like today, it's very, very hot. I'm at home. Sometimes I'll spend a day going somewhere and, you know, I'll try and do this because I think people do appreciate a Saturday one sometimes. Right now, I've got to find out where I was. Somebody left a comment there. Knock, knock. Who's there? Knock. Okay. Right. Pravo, how you doing? Good afternoon, Peter. Pleasant surprise. Wish I knew you would be live today. I didn't know I was going to be live today. There was no intro, no music, nothing, and there won't be no exit music. I just went go live like Ed Sweeney used to do. I'm sitting there just waiting for someone to come in. It was about 30 seconds. Right. Fitzy, I did the language school for a year and a half. I can read and write simple Thai now. I think you've got to actually live here to be able to speak it well. Just on the visas again, you can still, they've cracked down on the language schools because people are abusing them as well. But if you come out here on a, I don't know how long you get, but if you come out here and you get the education visa or the Muay Thai, you know, the boxing, I pronounced that wrong. As long as, you know, you can't come out here and not go to school if you're on an education visa, but it's something ridiculous, like 2 to 4 hours a week. That's all it is. So if you're living out here, and you might as well do the language school, you know, if you get the education visa, if you're under 50 and they insist you do 4 hours, and they check now 4 hours a week, I'd do the 4 hours because, you know, you might as well learn some Thai while you're here. Okay, Black Thai says, tires perish in the UV too. Okay, well, I've got them covered as well. There's only the car is the cover comes down to about that much off the ground, so the bottom of the tire is showing. It's been about 2 years since I put new tires on. It cost me 20,000 baht. I'll probably have to put some more on next year. My daughters are coming out next November. They still don't know about my girlfriend because they don't watch the live streams. They don't watch my YouTube or Facebook. So I'm just wondering how they're going to take it. You know. Ricardo, with the new house, did you take out house insurance such as building and contents as they would in the UK, and how much did it cost? It doesn't work like that out here. It's completely different. It's like, for example, if you if you buy a motorbike and it gets insured, anybody with a license can drive that motorbike because they actually insure the motorbike. So anybody on there is automatically insured. And yes, we got insurance. I don't know all the details of it, but we didn't have to let the aircon out there. We didn't have to look around for insurance. She got insurance. It's something like, it's funny how the mortgage works here, because what happens is there's a government bank. Okay. It's not a regular bank like Bangkok Bank, but it's a government bank who help most people get their mortgages from. Okay. So she applied through them. She filled in a load of paperwork. About 2 weeks later, they said, yeah, that's fine. We'll lend you the money. We had to go and look at the houses. We looked at 10 because we were on a relatively small budget. She got 2.4 million baht lent to her. Okay, this place was about 2.3, and they let you keep the extra 100 to buy the air cons and stuff, you know. I did spend money on here, but I can't remember for exactly what. But what happens is the bank, when you go down to the land register office, when she's going to get the tabi and ban, the blue book. So what happens, the juristic, the people who built the house, okay, because we're on a little estate, the person who built, who's the owner, who's selling it to us, they have to go to the government bank. And then the government bank check all the paperwork, and then the people who built it, the developer, they have to sign a paper. My girlfriend has to sign the paper, and then she gets the blue book, and the bank sign the paper to say that they'll give the money, and the insurance somewhere is tied in that. So everybody involved goes to the bank on the same day. Sorry, it's a land office, not the bank, because the bank, so a representative from the bank goes to the land office. So does the developer, so did the person who's buying the house. They all sign the signature on the day. And that's how it's done. You know, there's no kind of, it's not like in the UK or where it's all done remotely and you have to have lawyers and everything. And you probably think, well, who checks a contract? You know, the whole point of having a lawyer is to check that the contract's strong. But what happens is the bank representative who's lending the money to buy the house, he's the one who checks the contract. And if there's anything in there he's not happy with, he won't sign it off. He'll tell the developer, look, we're not going to lend her the money until this is in clauses in there. So, and the developers, they know this, so they don't try any tricks. You know, they don't, like if like someone like me, I don't know nothing, right? So they could try to put something in there which would mess me about. But because the government bank are lending money all the time for houses, the developers know, well, we can't do anything dodgy because the representative from that bank is going to check the contract. So it's always right. So there's not really hardly any chance of being stitched up, you know, and the insurance is somehow tied in there because she has got house insurance, but I don't know. I think it's tied in with the mortgage, the actual mortgage, even though the mortgage is only 11,100 baht. I mean, I pay a bit more than that because you know what it's like in Thailand. If you pay more than you're supposed to, you're seen as a really good customer, you know, and it might help us for something in the future. Only an extra 1,000 baht a month, but even 500 baht a month, they'd see her as a, you know, they'd say, oh, well, you know, she's a good payer, as it were. And she's got to pay it. So what I do is I transfer it my money is in my bank, obviously, from Wise, and then I transfer from Wise to here. And then I transfer from my bank account to my girlfriend's bank account, and then there's a direct debit set up to pay off the mortgage from her bank account. So it's all worked out pretty well. We haven't been scammed or conned or anything like that. But I've been in a very lucky situation where I've got a girlfriend that was able to get a mortgage before she finished her job. Ray Ross said, Pattaya is getting a little dark. How about Hua Hin for nationalities? Yeah, I mean, I wanted to mention that, but I didn't know how I could say it without people having a go at me afterwards in the comments. I think everybody knows what you mean there. That's one of the things I really like about here. You don't get big tour groups of certain people walking down Walker Street with a flag, you know, and they're trailing along gawking. They're not spending. These big packs of guys who are roaming on the beach road, and, you know, that's exactly what you mean. There's none of that here. I think most of the foreigners down here, a lot of them are fairly wealthy. You know, they own their own villas, they've bought their own. I'm not that wealthy, but a lot of them, there's a big Dutch community down here, there's a big Swiss community, and a lot of guys have got villas with swimming pools and houses, and they've all got Thai girlfriends. And I was thinking, I mentioned this on the stream last Sunday, because every foreigner, there's a lot of foreigners here in Hua Hin. I looked on AI and it said the population here is about 68,000. The population of foreigners, now I don't know if that just means like white foreigners or all foreigners, is about 7,800. And, you know, they've all got girlfriends. And I was thinking the other day, like I said to you last week, I thought, well, how have all these guys got girlfriends? And you can see they're not bar girls. They're not Expat. Well, there's a few, you can tell, right? But most of them look pretty decent. And you're thinking, right, okay, all these foreigners here have got decent sort of girlfriends. There can't be that much available in Hua Hin for everybody. And I think I've worked out that most of the guys who've got nice girlfriends here, what they've done is similar to me. You know, I've come here, I've liked the town. I've already got a girlfriend in Bangkok. And I've come here on holiday before, vacation, you know, and I thought, out of everywhere in Thailand I want to live in Hua Hin. So she's just come with, if I wanted to live in Khon Kaen, she would have come to Khon Kaen with me, wouldn't she? And my theory down here is, guys come here on vacation. Maybe they live in Bangkok and they get fed up of Pattaya and they think, oh, I'll go to Hua Hin for a week or two. And they go and they think, this is nice. I like it down here. There's a good vibe down here because it's not boring here. You know, there's loads of stuff to do. You know, there's lots of bars and restaurants, and, you know, it's very vibrant down here, but you haven't got the dark side of it like you're talking. And I think a lot of guys just decide to move down here and they've already got girlfriends. They move down with them like me. So that's my story. And I think that's what it is. Benito, is it? What happened to the fashion police? I remember a few years ago, they were all over you like a rash. Well, I started making fun of them in the end, didn't I? So they went away. What had happened is people are being, I put out a video, like the stories on a Saturday morning, and somebody would say, oh, you shouldn't wear a red shirt. Not a red shirt. I don't wear a red shirt. Somebody would say, oh, your glasses are giving off too much reflection. I mean, you can see they do now, but I've got the brightness turned down. Or they'd say, oh, you've had your hair cut, you should have kept it this way. Or, oh, I don't like that shirt, you shouldn't wear a white shirt, you know. And it's like, what the hell is this? You know, I'm telling stories on a Saturday morning. Where the hell are the fashion police coming out for? So I used to make jokes about them and, you know, I didn't take it seriously. And in the end, you know, people who try to wind you up, they get bored when they see it's not doing anything. If you don't get wound up, then they get bored and they go off and pester somebody else, don't they? Thank you, Black Tie. Ronald, 3921. Hi. Why didn't I get a YouTube notification? So the thing is, Ronald, I didn't know I was going to do a live stream. So I didn't set, you know, when I set up a scheduled live stream on a Sunday, I make a nice thumbnail with a pretty girl on there and it says Thailand Banners Live, 8 p.m. on whatever date. When you do these, you know, I like these relaxed ones. You know, I didn't do, there was no music intro. I didn't do any thumbnails. I didn't announce it. I just clicked like Ed used to do, right? Ed Sweeney. I just clicked go live. And I sat here and I just waited. But thinking about it, I think what I'm going to do, like I said earlier, I'm going to try and do one around 2:30 every Saturday. But I don't want to announce it because if I don't feel like doing it because I want to go to a beach or something or there's something going on, then people will have a go at me and say, oh, you know, you do these every Saturday and you haven't done one last Saturday. So I don't want to commit to say 100% every Saturday. But Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try and do them. But nice to see you in here anyway, Ronald. I'm not going anywhere just yet. Bernie, how you doing? Bernie441 is in the house and looking forward to a great stream. Well, I've been on for about an hour now, Bernie, an hour and 5 minutes, but thank you anyway. I don't know what's up in my throat today. Anders says, online comments are wild. They are. Hua Hin is an easy place for expats to retire. Yeah. The only thing down here, the only negative thing I'd say about here, if a guy comes here, I mean, there is taxis and there are minibuses and stuff like that, but it's not like Pattaya. You know, it's so easy to get around Pattaya because you've got those Songtels, BART buses, and they're everywhere, you know, and it's 10 baht to go around at one corner. The easiest way here is to rent a scooter. There's scooter shops everywhere. They charge you about 250 baht a day. It's not as cheap as Pattaya because there's not as much competition as in Pattaya. But that's the only kind of downside. Did you put the ghost to bed, Peter? I talked about that earlier, Ronald. You know, like I said earlier, people wrote to me and said, "Oh no, that's your infrared picking something up." But what I said, well, it looked a bit too kind of moving purposely. So I haven't looked, to be honest with you. It was very kind of when I was looking on the camera and I was doing the stream, it was a bit kind of shook me up a little bit, you know, because I didn't know what it was. Ray Ross. So you think Hua Hin is not for singles? No, I didn't say that, Ray. It's a great place for singles, but it's not a monga town, okay? If you're a guy on your own, there's plenty of bars with plenty of girls. They don't have go-go bars. It's not wild like Pattaya, but there's Wonderland. That's a big bar complex, you know, these little beer bars. You got Binta Bar over by the Hilton there. That's a big square of streets full of bars and girls. Okay, you've got Walking Street here, Soy 88 basically, and then you've got Soy 94. It's just lined with bars. So I'm not saying a single guy wouldn't have a good time here, but if you're one of those guys who go to Thailand for go-go bars, gentlemen's clubs, that sort of thing, you won't like it here. Okay, if you want a nice place to live, plenty of good restaurants, plenty of decent bars, you know, girls available if you want to date or whatever, it's a good town. Yeah, it is. Travel Gamer, heading back to Thailand next summer to divorce the Thai wife. New adventures come in. Oh, thanks for cheering me up. Right, Travel Gamer again. Looking fit, Peter. Good job. Thank you. I've actually put a bit of weight on because I'm not on the injections anymore. And I'll tell you what it is. And I never used to do this, but I've been doing it for the last 6 months. I drink most nights, okay? I don't drink in the daytime. I've never drank in the daytime. I didn't want to become a daytime drinker like you see these guys in the bars in Pattaya, right? And I used to have my first drink about 9:30 at night, and I'd go to about midnight sleep, and you know, didn't touch it for another 20 hours. But what I've been doing for the last 6 months, and this started in Bangkok because the Red Lion were doing happy hour. I could get a pint of Tiger for 99 baht. So I was walking around because I was always waiting for my girlfriend to finish at the hospital, and I was bored, you know. I couldn't really go anywhere because she had a key to the apartment, but you know, maybe she's coming at 7, maybe at 8. They always kept her late. So I got into a habit of going around to the Red Lion, and I'd have 2 pints of draft beer, and it cost me 198 baht, and it's a nice atmosphere. Sometimes I'd meet Tom, my mate up in Bangkok there. Sometimes I'd meet Edward or Steve or one of the other guys who live in Bangkok, and it was actually nice. You know, I have a couple of pints, and I come home and have dinner, and I do that here as well. There's a night market less than a mile from my house, okay, and I get to it on back roads, if you know what I mean. And they got food stalls all the way around. They got coloured lights. They have a stage with music and everything, and it's quite a pleasant atmosphere there. And I tend to go there most nights. And I have 2 big bottles of Chang, you know, and then it's just Otherwise, I can have a beer at home at 6 o'clock, say 5, 6 o'clock, okay. But what I find, if I have a beer at home, I sit outside, say 6 o'clock, crack a beer open. It becomes a very long night. You know, I'm not going out into town, right? I don't want to get caught drinking, driving. So it becomes a very long evening. Whereas I find if I do what I have to do in the daytime, I do my editing and watering the grass about 5 o'clock, you know, all exciting stuff. If I go and have a couple of bottles of Chang at 6 o'clock, she has a little bit of Thai food, and then I'll come home and I cooked a couple of my homemade burgers last night. So the weight thing, you know, I'm getting a bit podgy again. One, I've had my hair cut really short, as you can see, so it makes my face look like a pumpkin almost. And the thing is, I'm drinking beer every single day, so it's not. I haven't really put it on the body. Before I used to have a big gut on me, you know, but I still have a bit of a podge. I'm not like that. I'm kind of a little bit like a lemon drop, you know. But I do need to wash it, you know, because I'm getting older and I need to watch my weight. Not sure what that means, Andy. You said, I wish I saw Krausu, is it? What does that mean? I don't know what it means. Too many carbs, says Black Tie. Yeah, there's too many carbs. And actually, I looked it up again on air, how many calories in a large bottle of Chang, and any large bottle. They got San Miguel over there, but I've actually got a taste in, because San Miguel Light's got less calories, but I've actually recently got a taste for Chang. You know, it's a good beer. I like Chang. I've never liked Singer, you know, but Chang's a good beer. And I looked it up. It's something like 333 calories in a large bottle of Chang. And I have 2 of them every day. But on the other side of the coin, the good news is it's so cheap down here. You know, when I was in Bangkok, if I went to a restaurant and I ordered a beer, they serve small beers. I'm talking around Sukhumvit, right? You go to a restaurant, and very rarely they sell the big bottles of beer. They're only selling the small ones, and they're like, 140 baht or 120 baht. You buy a large one, and it's kind of like 180 baht, in a restaurant. I used to go to Suda on, I think it's Soy 14, and they did a large beer for 120 baht. But down here, you know, even in any Thai restaurant, I mean, forget the Western outlets like, well, I won't name any, but, you know, Irish pubs, English pubs, they got them here as well. They're always, more, the beer is, and the food is good quality, but it's expensive, right? And expensive as opposed to a Thai restaurant. So if I go into a night market and order a beer, even Ban Kun Po, the biggest one in the center near the railway lines, okay, it's 65 baht for a large Chang, you know. And it's 70 in the market I go to every night, most nights. So 2 beers is costing me, 140 baht, you know, and I get to sit down in a nice atmosphere. There's a band on, not too loud in this one. 140 baht. Well, if I bought 2 large Changs, which I've got in the fridge, 2 bottles from 7-Eleven, I think they cost 51 baht. So it would cost 102 baht. So I'm paying, about 40 baht, a pound. I'm paying an extra pound to go out and sit in a night market. My girlfriend can eat, you know, it's like the food she buys is like 50 baht. You know, I mean, it's incredibly cheap. Yeah, I mean, that was, I've gone off course now, but I was just explaining, we were talking about the weight and why I was drinking so much beer. Well, if you've got any questions, now would be a good time to ask, because there's no more chat at the moment. Just looking at my CCTV, what's going on? Not a lot. It was very sad what happened to Edward Sweeney, wasn't it? I know people have been talking about that a lot. I did a little tribute to him on Facebook and on YouTube. But what I did, I wanted to re-upload the 5-hour stream we did during COVID. It was wild. We got totally drunk. There were like nearly 800 people in the stream. And it was, you know, it was during COVID, during the dark days of COVID, and it was me and Ed Sweeney. It was a great stream, really good stream. And I wanted to put that up as a tribute to him, and I couldn't find it because I've got over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel now. You know, I've been doing it so long. And but I did find the one we did, which was 2.5 hours. So I released that actually. When was that? Did I release that? I think it was Sunday. What day are we today? Saturday? No, I think it was Friday or Thursday. I released. Just looking. Anyway, recently I released that. But what I did, because I knew what people would do, they'd write to me and say, "Oh, you know, you're a scumbag. You're profiting from a dead man's video." Well, it's my video, but you know what I mean. So what I did is I demonetized it, you know, and I made it really clear at the beginning. I said, "Look, this is a tribute to a nice guy. These were sad times for everyone, but you know, we hope we cheered some people up with this video. I'm re-releasing it as a tribute to Ed Sweeney. I've demonetized it. I'm not making any money on it whatsoever." And that's the only reason I did it. You know, I just wanted to make it straight that I wasn't, you know, because people will, you know, they do have a go at you. Anders, it's an old Thai. Oh, okay, I got you. I know what it is. Even before reading it, it's that lady, isn't it? The ghost lady who supposedly goes after pregnant women and stuff. Horrible looking thing. Yeah, I remember now because you mentioned it the first time round, and I looked it up. I just forgot the name of it. Okay, but the girl is lovely. She's a teacher. Have I forgotten what I'm talking about? What girl are we talking about, Ronald? God, God, I don't know if you've mentioned it and I've forgotten it already. But the girl is lovely. She's a teacher. Who are we talking about? Tell me who we're talking about. Sorry. David Brockman, is a budget of 84,000 baht a month enough for a single retired man to live comfortably? I'm not a heavy drinker. Okay, I would say definitely yes. That's what I'm probably spending about 80,000 baht a month. I could live on less. Well, no, I'm not, because I'm in Hua Hin now. That's a good budget. What I always say when people say, can I live on X amount of baht? It depends what you do in Thailand. You just said you're not a big drinker. Some guys, when they're here, they want to live like they're on holiday. So what happens is they come here and they want to be in bars every night. They want to be bar finding girls every night. Well, you'd need triple that budget, even quadruple, if you're going to bar find lots of ladies. If you just want to come out here, it depends where you live as well. If you live in Bangkok, it can be, in the touristy areas, it can be expensive. But if you live in somewhere like Jomtien or Hua Hin or, I don't know, Rayong, one of those kind of seaside locations, you can get a nice one-bedroom apartment. If it's just for yourself, anywhere from kind of like, I've got a friend who's got a one-room apartment. So you walk in, he's got a kitchenette on the side. It's quite nice, but it's small. He's got a bedroom at the back with a glass sliding door. He pays 10,000 baht a month for that, and it's serviced as well. But if you won't want to, he doesn't stay here full time. You'd want something a bit better than that. So yeah, you can. What you've got to budget, what you've got to remember, your budget. You've got to have money for emergencies. Okay, you probably want to buy health insurance. That can be quite pricey. You need, before you decide to come out here, you'd want to try and work out online how much health insurance is going to cost you each month. You always need money put by in case you need to buy a ticket to get home. If there's an emergency, one of your family members become ill and you need to get out quickly. You need money to take care of your retirement visa. Okay, there's always things that pop up that you don't think about. You can get everything here in Thailand. If you're not going to come out here chasing the girl, you just want a steady girlfriend, you're going to have to look after her as well. But a regular girl is not going to try and bleed you for money. Like my girlfriend, I give her money, but what I give her is she uses to pay. My girlfriend likes to pay the bill in restaurants. I don't know why. It's like I always try and scan it with a QR code. So what I do is I give her 5,000 baht. And when she runs out, I give her another 5,000. There's no kind of, in answer to your question, yes. Okay. I'll just elaborate on this with my girlfriend. So what she'll do, I'll give her 5,000. She doesn't ask for the money. I'll just give her the 5,000. And then we go out and, we'll have a plate of fried rice and so she'll pay that bill. And then we'll go into a supermarket and buy, 500 baht worth of bits and pieces and she'll pay that. She'll buy the odd lipstick or the odd, think makeup or some cream or something, because women have got to have that, haven't they? You can't say, no, you can't have that, because she hasn't got a salary now. When we were in Bangkok, she said to me, look, if I finish my job and I come to Hua Hin, can you take care of me? That's how they ask, right? And I said, if you're saying, can I pay you a salary to live in Hua Hin with me? The answer is no. But if you're saying, can I feed you? Can I pay your phone bill? Can I buy your makeup? Can I give you a little bit of money to get your hair done? Yes, I can take care of you. And that's how it works out. So I give her 5,000 baht. She'll pay the bill. She'll do shopping and stuff. And I'm pretty on top of it. I know what's happening with it. And then I'll say to her every now and again, how much money have you got left? And she'll say, I've got 3,000. I'm like, okay, no problem. And then sometimes I'll ask her, she'll say, I've got 1,000 left. And I'll go withdraw another 4,000. I say, okay, you got 5 again. So she's not a greedy girl. She doesn't buy clothes. She won't buy clothes because, most Thai girls are very, very frugal. It actually winds me up that she won't throw away anything. She bought me a small box of chocolates for Christmas, right? I don't know why. I didn't buy her anything, actually, but she bought me a small box of chocolates, and I ate the chocolates, which I shouldn't have done, but it was Christmas Day. I froze them first. I like frozen chocolate. Okay, I ate the chocolates, and I'm rummaging around for something, a pan or something, and I'm looking, and that box that I'd thrown in the bin, she's taken it out of the bin, and she's kept it because it's got a nice bow on the front of it and a nice design. And this is what she does, and it's like, I remember when I used to drink Shoulder Monkey whiskey, it's a nice shaped bottle, a nice label and stuff. And I come to the end, I throw it in the bin. She's like, no. She took it out of the bin. She says, oh, I can do something with this. It looks nice. I'm going to, and I'm like, come on, it's an empty whiskey bottle. And I snatched it and I says, it's going in the bin. And I dropped it in the bin. About a month later, I'm in the cupboard under the sink, okay? And I'm rummaging, looking for glass cleaner for the visor, because we've got a nice Mr. Muscle glass cleaners. Great stuff. Good tip there. And I'm rummaging behind all the cleaner materials. And what do I find? This empty whiskey bottle, right? So she's in the bathroom. So I take this empty whiskey bottle and I stick it in the middle of the table, and she comes out and she looks at it. She looks at me. She runs back in the bedroom. It's not just her. All Thai girls, because they grow up with next to nothing, they find it very difficult to throw things away. When you go to a mall and you buy a salad, they'll give you a plastic fork and a spoon, okay, and a napkin in a little plastic bag, and they put that in with the salad or the soup. They always give you that in the malls here. And what happens is, if I get a salad from a mall and I'm going to eat it at home, I'll say to the I don't need the plastics. I don't need the cutlery, I'll tell him in Thai. Or I'll get home and I've forgotten it's in the bag. I just chuck it in the bin, right? Because I've got a drawer full of proper cutlery here. So I'm looking around in cupboards for something, and I open the drawer, and there's like 15 of these packs of plastic cups, what I've just explained. And then there'll be 10 little spoons. And I'm like, what are they? And so she gets home, and I'm like, what the hell are you collecting now? And I'm like, what are these spoons at that side? She buys ice cream, the little plastic spoon. She washes it and puts it away. I'm like, what the heck, Oh, never mind. I'm going on about it now. Right, David. I've just read yours out, right? Perbit, those Friday night streams were awesome. It's how I started my weekend. They were really good, weren't they? I mean, the thing is, we were all in the same. COVID was on. Nobody was working out. Everyone was working from home, or they were staying at home. We had neighbours in England report. We were only allowed out once a day, and we had neighbours reporting other neighbours. Oh, he's been out already today. But because I had nothing to do and I was at home all day, I had the week. I used to do one on a 10 p.m. on a Friday, 9 p.m. on a Sunday, and they're always 2 hours long, okay? And I spent all week preparing competitions, games, manga minutes, old adverts from the 60s. I had a lot of time to do it, and when we did the live stream, we had like 700-800 people in, and everyone was drinking, getting drunk on the, and the comments would be flying, and some people, you could tell the people who couldn't hold their drink because they started getting a little bit, not nasty, but their comments were getting really, I can't show this on YouTube, Talking of funny comments, we haven't got Paul Hoskins in at the moment, have we? If you watch that live stream with Edward, he actually says something funny, not taking the mickey, but about Paul Hoskins. He's talking about something. I know what Paul Hoskins would want to say, but and they were good days, and I still enjoy the streams, but they're different now, aren't they? A lot of guys. I mean, what was funny, what was really strange for me is I actually watched a part of that live stream that me and Ed Sweedy did together during COVID, and it was actually 3 hours, 2.5 hours long, but it was over 3 years ago. And I put the comments up on stream, like on the stream, like everybody else does, and the people leaving the comments, hardly any of them are in the stream now. The streams now, they've all kind of gone off. There was Clive, F1 racer, I can't remember all the names. Black Bolt, remember him? And then you had Taxi to Lao. You had all those names that used to come in every single week. And I moved out here, and I don't know if it's a time zone thing, but I never see, there's few people that used to be in the stream. Perbert, Damien, of course, I don't see him very often now. He's got a house out here now. Franco. There's a few. I mean, obviously, the guy who calls himself President Trump, he's been in from the beginning. It goes around, doesn't it? Right, Anders, obviously it's not real, but it would be both incredible and terrifying to see. I think any ghost would be terrifying to see. They say that ghost orbs don't exist. It's all to do with the camera and stuff. I knew a Romanian priest. Okay, he was a priest in Romania, but he spoke great English, and he worked for me for a while in England. He wasn't a priest anymore. Okay, he got pissed off with the church because he come to England to head a church, and they didn't give him the church they promised, and they gave him some crappy little village somewhere, and he just packed it in. And he actually said to me, he said, look, he said, there is no such thing as ghosts. He said, I've been in a lot of situations where there should be ghosts. He said, as a priest, and I've never seen anything. Everything can be explained. I watched you, who's that? Toby. I watched you and Ed getting drunk on the stream. I was there watching and joined in. Oh, good stuff, Toby. So you've been around a while as well, yeah. I felt really sorry for Ed. Ed and I had a disagreement. I've mentioned this many times. We didn't exactly fall out. There was no nastiness or bitterness or anything like that. But that guy in Holland, he's a real alcoholic waster, said something to Ed, and Ed didn't come back and ask me. And we kind of had a bit of an unpleasant, it was more of a kind of not speaking to each other for a while. And I reached out to him, and he didn't come back to me. But I still liked him, and he was one of the guys who who kind of motivated me to make my channel, because as I said, did I say this on a live stream or so? I said this before. Like when I used to watch him before I had a YouTube channel, I could connect to the guy. You know, he came across as the sort of guy I'd like to meet in a pub and sit down and have a chat with. You know, he wasn't a silly man. He wasn't out to get attention, anything like that. And I actually connected with him and we became friends, and I used to call him and he'd call me. And, you know, when he got cut short, as it were, it was sad. It was really sad. You know, it could have been me. It's just a luck of the draw, isn't it? You know, here I am. Ed did the same thing. He packed his job in. He came out here to retire and, you know, have a good life, as it were, you know, see out his older years. And, you know, what's happened to him. And it could have happened to me. You know, I'm still here, relatively healthy, I'd like to think, 66 in April. But I don't know what would happen if I get dementia. You know, I don't want to go back to the UK, that's for sure. You know, I've been with my girlfriend for 3 years. I mean, she says one thing, but you never know, do you? You know, she said, you know, if you get dementia and you don't know what you're doing, she said, I'm just going to sell the house and take you to Lotbury, because that's where she's from. You know, her sisters are there, and look after you. But you don't know, you know, if I don't know, maybe how do I know? She'd empty my bank account and just like fob me off, and there I am on a. I mean, I'm getting a bit going a bit too far now, but yeah, I'm just trying to make a point. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Ronald, you jumped over my message again. Can you go back and read it? Certainly, Ronald. I didn't jump over it. It's because I'm trying to talk as well. You missed the earlier message. Okay, let's go back even further. But the girl is lovely. We did that one. Okay, here we go. I have my own Thai girl experience. Messaged with the girl for 10 years. Tells me she's missing me. Video calls me, but I can't pick up. Then I guess she gets upset and says, I'm only kidding. Oh, really? That's why you said, but she's a nice girl. Okay. You know, a lot of guys, when I tell the Saturday morning stories, a lot of comments say, oh, that guy was a simp, or I can't believe these guys fall for these tricks. But a lot of the guys hadn't, you know, they don't realize they're so good at what they do, the bar girls, you know, and they are lovely girls. They are really nice to spend time with, and they're really good at what they do. And, you know, they come across as like the stories they tell, like, oh, you know, I don't go out with customers. I just do it for drinks because my mother needs help. And that, if you didn't know better, it's actually believable. I mean, I'll tell you a little story. I was going back to the UK once. This is when I'd had a trip to Pattaya. You know, my wife and I hadn't separated, but we got to the point where she didn't give a damn if I went away for a week or two. And, you know, I didn't ask her any questions. And I wouldn't say we're in an open marriage, but I'd say, look, I'm going to Thailand on business or something. I'd make some excuse, but I'd go to Thailand for a week, 10 days, something like that. And yeah, I've forgotten the story I was going to tell you now. There's me saying I haven't got dementia. I was going to tell you a story and I've forgotten. What was it? We were talking about bar girls. Oh, I got it. I'll get straight into it again. So I used to go out there and I was on one of these trips and I was in Suvarnabhumi Airport, Suvarnabhumi Airport. And you know what it's like when you're in an airport, you get talking, don't you? Oh, where you off to, mate? Oh, I'm just coming back from Thailand. I'm being in Pattaya. And I'm like, and then you connect, don't you? It's like when I used to go out from London. The guy said, I'm going to Thailand. And he'd be like, oh, are you? And then you just connect, right? Anyway, so I got talking to this guy, and he was actually 70, but he still had his marbles with him. He didn't have any marbles rolling around. He was still with it, as it were. But he was 70. He looked good for 70. And we got talking about girls. I told him I was married, and he said, oh, I've got a good one in Pattaya, you know. And he hadn't been going to Thailand for long. And he said, oh, she doesn't work in a bar. And he showed me a picture of her. And I looked at her and I thought, I don't know. And I said, what's her background? He said, oh, she's got a hair salon in Pattaya. And I thought, yeah, okay. I didn't take it any further than that, you know. Okay, Christian says, I have been following you since Simon lost, not so much live. Okay, thank you. I heard a story about Simon, Land of Smiles. I don't know if it's true, but I heard when he went back, he was trying to save as much money as he could to come back out here. And this is secondhand information, so don't hold me to it. But I'd heard he was living in a caravan with his missus, his wife, so that they could like really get a lot of money together and come back to Thailand. But his health has suffered somehow. I don't know anything more than that, because when he went back to the UK, he was still doing live streams from the UK, because I caught one once. But yeah, I don't know what's happened to him. I used to really like his stories. I mean, he used to tell him, he spoke slowly, like I'm like a machine gun, right? But he spoke slowly. And I just happened to come across Solomon's Tales, which was one of it. It was actually turned out to be a story about him, which was 5 episodes, and very, very good, very good. I used to sit and watch these stories and think, I've got to hear it to the end. And we'd get to the end and it'd be like 4 in the morning and we'll leave it there until next week. And I'm like, damn. Right. David, doing a little quick maths. I think my monthly budget will be about 133,000 baht. I guess I can live pretty well with that budget. Yeah, very well, actually. And again, just, if you're getting 133 baht a month, what I would do if I was you, I'd try and save as much as I could, at least maximum spend the 100,000 a month, but you won't need that much. And the 33, just let it build up. That's what I do, actually. I put by, I've got another account and it debits from my main account, because I've still got a business in England. I pay taxes in England, okay, even though I'm not, even though I don't live in England at all now. When the money's earned in that country, you have to pay tax on it. So I've got an accountant. She does my tax return every year. But what I do is 20,000 baht a month goes into another account and I don't touch it. And I looked at it, it goes in on the 16th and it's up to 200,000 baht in there now. And what I'm going to do when it gets to 240,000 baht, I'm going to take 140,000. I'm going to pay that off the principal to this house because it's on a 23-year mortgage. I don't think I'm going to be around in 23 years' time. So I want to get it paid off in 10 years so that when I'm not around, she's got an asset, There's guys who'll say things like, yeah, she'll move another Farang in or, you're a simp and all this sort of thing. But as it is at the moment, we've got a really good relationship and she looks after me well and I want to get this place paid off. So that's what I do. And then the 100,000 that's left every year, that 100,000 will build up and eventually my car will be clapped out. It's very hard for a foreigner to get credit here. You can get a brand new MG 3, 4, something like that for about 650,000 baht. That's brand new, 3-year warranty. The MGs are made in China now. I've got one I bought secondhand off Simon, but it's great. It hasn't let me down. I've had it about 3 years now. But the day will come when it's clapped out, right? And I need to get something. And I think if you can afford, I've seen Chinese 4x4s in the malls, they're selling them 599,000 baht. How much is that for a brand new car? Let me just, people say, oh, Chinese, I don't want to buy Chinese, but they make everything anyway, 599,000 divided by 42 for pounds. That's 14,000 pounds. Cars are more expensive out here. Let me just work out what 650 is. So, because my friend Tom has just bought a car, an MG. It looks like a 4x4. 650,000. We'll do 42 again. Yeah, it's about 15,500 pounds. So that's 31,000 Australian dollars, about 17 to 18,000 US dollars. I can't do any other currencies. And about 10 million rupee. No, only joking. So yeah, that's what I do. While I can, I put 20,000 goes away every month. Every year, 140,000 will come off the mortgage. That way, the principal's coming down. We'll end up paying less and less mortgage, and hopefully in 10 years it will be paid off then. And then whatever happens, right? While I can do it, I mean, later on in 2 or 3 years' time, I might have to reduce that down to 15 or even 10, or one day I might not be able to do it at all. I get my pension next year in June, but I'm only going to get about £200 a month because I didn't pay in all of the full amount. Ronald says, I know she married with Facebook friends. She just likes to flirt, I guess, online. Okay. Yeah, they really love their social media, the Thais. They really love it. Mazza, howdy, Peter. Struggle to catch you live these days, but always listen back a day or two later. Good stuff, Mazza. Thank you. That's what I was saying on this stream. I'm going to try and do a Saturday afternoon live stream now because it's kind of convenient for me to do it on a Saturday afternoon because you can't please all the people all the time. And, there's quite a few people now I do the Sunday one, but it's the middle of the night for some people. And I'm hoping because this one starts off 6 hours earlier, different people around the world can catch it, not just like the Sunday night crowd. Sham, can you recommend some good Thai movies that you liked over the years? I don't watch Thai movies at all. They're not really my thing. I've got Netflix. I've got a couple of jailbreak apps that I can watch new movies on. I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't watch YouTube channels about Thailand because I want to. When I turn my PC off, I want to get away from it. So I watch. I'll just answer in answer to your question. I'm sorry, no, I don't want to BS you. I don't. I've never watched Thai movies. I don't know anything about Thai movies. That's it. End of. Sorry, I can't be helpful with that. But when I watch YouTube, I like to watch. There's some good movies on YouTube. If you don't mind them being sort of 20, 25 years old, I've watched a couple of good crime dramas, movies, English crime films, and some of them are really good. They might be sort of 10 years old, 20 years old, and you can see like when the guy's in the office, there's not a flat screen monitor. He's on a computer with a big, remember the old box style. But some of the movies are really good. I've watched some really good movies on there. Dutch Farang, how you doing? After 3 years, the car starts breaking down, specifically after the warranty's expired. I don't know. My car hasn't got a warranty. It's now 5 years old. The only thing, I've had two things with my car. It used to slightly misfire. When I was on a motorway, if I slowed right down, then put my foot down, it kind of just, not a big misfire. Changed the spark plugs. It was good. I had the engine management light come on one time. I left it with MG here in Hua Hin because we were in Hua Hin, so that was great, easy to get to. And it was an engine sensor. So they changed the engine sensor. It was 1,000 baht, 999 baht or 990 baht. And I'm just watching my camera because I'm waiting for there's a guy should turn up to do something. We got a year's guarantee on the house, and sometimes we have to call him and say the water pump's not right or something. I don't think he's coming here. I think he's just turning around. But if he comes here, I'll have to go and sort him out. No, he's not coming here. Don't stop. Okay, good. Right, carry on. Yeah, so no, I just think it's. I think the cars are okay. Modern cars now. Do you remember in the 70s? I don't know, and there must be quite a few guys of my age here, 50 upwards. I can still remember in the 70s when we went to the coast. Do you remember in the 70s what happened? You could buy a ticket to go to the coast, and then you go to the marketplace at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there'd be all people you didn't know would get on this coach, and it'd drive to Skegness or Yarmouth for the day. Seaside. These are seaside locations for non-British, non-UK guys. So they'd advertise it in the local travel agent in town. A day out at Skegness, £5 or whatever it was, and you'd get yourself up to the town centre marketplace. There'd be a coach waiting there, and it'd go to one of these seaside locations for the day. 4 p.m. you had to be back on the coach, and it'd take you back home, and you'd be home for 6 p.m. And in those days, there wasn't a lot of money about in the 70s for a lot of families, including ours, and that was the only way really that mum and dad could take the kids to the. You could have a few hours on the beach, even though it was cold. So you'd get to Skegness or Yarmouth by. I don't know, 10:30, and you'd be back on the coach at 4. So you had a picnic. You took a picnic with you, and kids could go and play with a bucket and spade on the sand, as it were. But that wasn't my point. My point was about cars. I remember in those days when I was a kid, there'd be so many cars you'd see cars every few miles on the road where the bonnet was up and steam was pouring out of them because they'd overheated or something had gone wrong. You see it all the time, but it's very rare you see a broken down car now, isn't it? They're so reliable. I'm not saying they never break down, but it's very rare you see a broken down car. Even here in Thailand, it gets so hot. When I was driving in Bangkok, I'd be sitting in traffic with the engine ticking over. I'm like, why is this not overheating? Because the coolants they put in them now they're so good at what they're so good that they rarely break down, as I say. Okay, Ronald, every super chat goes towards the mortgage end. No, not at all. I don't use the super chats for that. The super chats, I do. I don't really get many super chats these days. I used to, if you remember during COVID, when I used to do the Friday and Sunday night streams, I used to make about $1,000 a month in super chats. Now, I would honestly say if I make $100 a month, I'm lucky because there's so many more. I know guys who super chat me regularly, but they'll send them to somebody else now, because like the roti lady, she gets a lot of super chats, doesn't she? And I know like one guy come on and he left me $25. He said, I normally give this to the roti girl, but I've enjoyed this stream, so I'm giving it to you this week. So no, if I get the odd super chat, I've had a couple today. If I get the odd super chat, I've still got a sore backside from when I fell over. I have to keep changing positions. If I get a super chat, what I try to do with it, I try to get a couple of beers with it, or if it's a decent super chat, I'll try and go out and buy a dinner with it or something like that. The money that goes away every month is from my business in the UK. So I know you're only joking, but I do want to tell you anyway. Toyota says Hanoi 756. Any Japanese car, any Japanese motorbike, so reliable, so reliable. Even in the UK, number one cars in the UK, anything Japanese, BMW, Audi, German, right? German reliability, Mercedes, German reliability. Okay, we're nearly there. Kiwi Chris, for what it's worth, I appreciate the timing of this live stream. I've been to Hua Hin twice this year, and I'll retire there within 3 years. Okay, Chris, Kiwi Chris. One thing I want to tell you about immigration, it's nothing like Bangkok or Pattaya. They're so helpful down here. I was with somebody who did their retirement visa, and I went along with him just to see how the process was. Okay, it's a smaller office down here, and they actually said to him, look, don't use an agent. It's so easy. And it was. They gave him 2 forms to fill in. One was just the standard application for the retirement visa, and the second one was for a multi-entry, or you can get a single entry, so you can go out once, come back. He got the single for an emergency, so if a family member's ill, he can go out and he's not lost his retirement visa, but he doesn't want to keep going out, so he's just got the one. So he got these 2 forms, and another car stopping there. That could be my girlfriend because her friend's bringing her back. He got 2 forms. He filled them in, and outside the immigration, kind of downstairs, they've got 2 desks, and they give you a list of what you need. If you're doing it yourself, you've got to have the 800,000, obviously. So like in Bangkok, you've got to get a statement from a bank on the same day that you apply for your visa. Down here, they give you 5 days. Because this guy went along, he said, "Oh, I can't remember what he asked." They're like, "No, it's fine. We know it's a fixed account. It's where his 800,000 is a fixed account, right? So it only gets updated once a month because he doesn't use it for everyday transactions." And they're like, "No, we know it's a fixed account. Just get it updated on the day it gets done. You can bring it for 5 days after that, no problem," which he did. And then he went back. They checked all his paperwork, photocopied his passport, 2 photographs, photographed his bank book and his statements. They checked it all like that. They said, "Yeah, go upstairs." He went upstairs. The next day they said, "Come back tomorrow," because there's quite a few people up there. He was back at 8:30. There were quite a lot of people there. I say a lot, about 10 people downstairs. 8:30, went up, took a ticket. At 8:30, 10 o'clock, he's seen the officer, stamped his passport and everything. You know what it's like in Thailand. He stamps it, dates it, checks the paperwork. He then has to give it to his boss, and they stamp it, and then he gives it to somebody else, and then it goes to another table to prepare the receipt. And I think for everything, he paid about 2,900 baht. But the big difference I found with the immigration down here, they are very, very helpful. They're not putting obstacles in front of you. They're not saying like, "Oh, well, you didn't fill this incorrectly. You need to go away and come back another day." I know a guy in Bangkok. He was pulling his hair out. I mean, he got everything they needed. All the bank statement, and you take a ticket and you stand in one line, and then once you've got that done, you have to stand in a different line, and it's a nightmare, And down here it isn't like that. So if you come here, I'm going on a bit about this now, but this is aimed at Kiwi Chris here. If you come down here and you want to do your own retirement visa, as long as you've got the money in the bank, it's so easy down here. Dutch Farang says German number 1, talking about the cars there. Sham, that is a tonal language, but songs already have their own melody when singing. How do Thai people understand the lyrics in songs? Don't the word tones and the music tones interfere with each other? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've never asked the question myself. Dutch Frank says, "Peter, I missed the streams from Friday night in the UK." Yeah, I do. They were a lot of fun. I mean, I used to get a lot of people in there, but what can I do? I've moved on, haven't I? Okay. Are you the cheapest Charlie in Hua Hin? Probably, yes. Someone trying to be funny there, but I am probably. Okay. I think we're nearly there now. I think the comments are... unless anybody else has got anything else to say. God, hour and 43 minutes. I was going to come on for an hour. The time just goes, doesn't it? Okay, right. I'm going to end it there, guys. It's been a good stream. So as I said, what I'll do, I'm not promising, but I'll try and do a stream at 2 o'clock on a Saturdays if I'm free, which normally I am on a Saturday. And then the regular Sunday stream and the member stream will be every 2 weeks as normal. But thanks for everybody who's been in today. Thanks for the super chats. Damien, I'm just saying goodbye to everybody. I've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. You've obviously just woke up, haven't you? Nice to see you in the first Saturday stream anyway. I was just saying, I'm going to try and do a stream on a Saturday morning so it can appeal to different people because, you know, I do 8 p.m. in Thailand and some people are not around at that time, you know, so I'm going to try and do one at 2 p.m. on a Saturday, as long as people don't get bored and sick of me, you know. Dazzler Raw. Hi, Peter. In Hua Hin for 3 nights for my wife's birthday and to collect our boy from the Army Officers School. Yeah, I've seen that down here. Just about to have a picnic on Sun Son Beach. Okay, that's nice. It's a nice day. Very hot though. Okay, Chris. Thanks, Peter. I hope we can meet one day. Yeah. Okay. Damien, you just woke up. Franco's probably still in his pit. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, guys. It's been good. First Saturday stream. I've enjoyed it. I hope you did. Thanks to all the guys who left the super chat as always. And thanks for you guys for participating, as they say. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you for the next regular stream. That'll be on, well, that's next Sunday, isn't it? A week tomorrow at 8 p.m. And then there'll be the members stream straight after that. So no fanfare, no music, nothing special. Just goodbye. Thank you.